And the next thing that international students should know about Canadian law is there anything you can't say in Canada? And interestingly to me, when we did the poll, this was the most popular question. And to me, it was interesting that was the case. So the general rule is, no, in Canada you can say anything you want, with a few exceptions. So there's what's called a dangerous words exception. So what is dangerous words? Well, like, you can't cry out fire in a theater that's crowded with people unless there actually is a fire, right? Because what will happen is people will all run for the exits, and some people might get knocked over and then run over by all the other people and die. And so that creates a dangerous situation. And so dangerous words can become something you cannot say. But this exception is very, very narrow. It really has to be a specific call to action that creates a significant risk that people will do something that will endanger other people. Okay? So it's a fairly narrow exception. Then there are some rules about inciting hatred against identifiable groups. And this is a very limited exception because, again, there has to be an actual potential for violence or criminal acts to flow from the words that you're saying. So you can't, like, even just, as abhorrent as it is, people are free to say really bigoted things. But to be criminally prosecuted, they have to actually say something that's designed, again, to create a call to action to imminent violence or imminent criminal acts. So, to give a sort of an example, if somebody was saying, not just that they think that this particular group that they don't like shouldn't be around or should all die, that itself is not criminal. Where it becomes criminal is if you say those specific people of that group who are right over there, they should be, assaulted, right? Or their house should be burned down or something like that. If you say that, and there are people who are likely to actually take those words to heart and then actually do the things that you're saying, that can create a criminal liability. Now, saying that, that is all just about the criminal aspect of things. And there is another aspect, which is civil liability. And with civil liability means, non-criminal punishment. You're not going to go to jail for it. But there are non-criminal punishments for hate speech. So, some of the examples I used about, like, saying that you hate a particular group or hate a particular person because they belong to a particular group might be punishable under the Canadian Human Rights Act or the Ontario Human Rights Act. And then the other one that is big is defamation. And defamation is a fancy word, but what it really means is saying something to somebody else that is untrue about somebody who's not a party to that conversation, that causes a loss of respect for that person. So communicating it directly to that person and only that person is not defamation. But if you communicate it to anybody else outside of it, then that is considered to be defamatory. And really the only requirement is that it be something that would bring the person down in their respect that other people might have within a particular community. And so you see this a lot in situations where there are people who are engaged in public debate where people will say terrible, mean, and nasty things about them. However, we do have some fairly robust defenses that are available to defamation claims. So, if you're in good faith making a statement that you believe is factual about a matter that's in the public interest, for example, that would be exempt from being sued for defamation. So if you say, I think that politician is corrupt because of this or that, then you might be covered under those exemptions. And there are some very fast ways to get those kinds of claims resolved. But other than that, no, you can say anything you like in Canada. We have fairly robust free speech, at least now we do. Whether or not it'll stay that way is another question, but generally speaking, Canadians can say whatever they like.